Hey folks, we've been making our way through Pornograffitti and now we're at the quintessential 90s acoustic ballad. Extreme's mega hit more than words. So let's get stuck in. So let's look at the main guitar part for this, which you hear in the intro and you're hearing the verses. So the chords, I'll look at these first and I'll talk about what the right hand's doing. So this is songs in G major. So our first chord is going to be a G played like this. So I've got the 3rd fret of that E string, 2nd fret the A string, and then my 3rd and 4th fingers are playing 3rd fret the B and the E string. So that G with the double notes at the top. Then in all classic rock ballads, I'm going to take these two fingers, the 1st and 2nd, move it up to the A and the D string to get a C add 9 chord. So I've got 3rd fret A and 2nd fret of that D, and the 3rd and 4th fingers stay where they are. So that's kind of your 1 chord in the key, that's your 4 chord. Then I've got an A minor 7 chord, which initially we play like this. So it's like an A minor with your 3rd finger off. So I've got my middle finger in the 2nd fret the D string, my 1st finger is in the 1st fret the B string there, and I'm strumming from the A string up. And then I can keep that as an A minor 7 by putting my pinky at the 3rd fret of the high E string there, just to bring in that minor 7 into it. That's the 2nd chord in the key, the 2 chord. Then I'm going to play a C. So I keep my 1st and 2nd finger where they are and put my 3rd finger, A string, 3rd fret. That's the 4 chord again. And then I go up to a D. So I've got the open D string, 2nd fret G, 3rd fingers in that 3rd fret the B string, and then my middle finger's 2nd fret of that high string. And there's a little kind of sus, or put my pinky on, but it's kind of it's kind of leading into the G again, but I'll think of it as like a D sus. So basically you're playing a D, you put your pinky on the 3rd fret of that high E string, make it a sus 4, and then you're back to G. So if I go through those chords again, it's kind of like G, which is a 1, C add 9, it's a 4, A minor 7, which is the 2 chord, then you've got your 4 chord again, C, and then your 5 chord is D, with the pinky on, back to G. So a nice standard kind of progression in G major. Now what we're doing with the right hand here, so this is something that's definitely influenced, I think, with Nuno's kind of drumming background. What makes this such a classic bit of acoustic playing is Nuno's going to be hitting the top of the strings to almost give like a snare hit effect on beats 2 and 4 in the bar. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, kind of throughout this. And what I'm doing there is I'm just, my hand's very relaxed. I just hold my fingers in and I'm just dropping my hand on top of the strings. And what you end up doing is kind of pushing the strings into the frets a little bit maybe. Not hitting it too hard, just kind of the weight of the hand is hitting the strings. So you get that percussive kind of sound to it. But what we're doing, if we break this down into little kind of groupings, this first little bit, I'll look at that. Now, what we start off with here in this G chord is my thumb's going to play the bass note. Then my index finger is going to do like a little up strum on the treble strings. Then I've got my percussive hit, so it's like 1 and 2, 1 and 2, After I've done that percussive hit, I'm now going to pluck the A, D, G and B strings with my thumb, index, middle and 3rd finger. Like that. So it goes. So that's that first little bit to kind of practice. So what you can do is cycle that little bit to get a feel for that 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and just to get a feel for that kind of flow. Now once we've done that, that sustains over beat 3, and then the end of beat 3 I've got another little index finger strum as I kind of lead into another slap or kind of bring down the hand in the strings. So that kind of goes. And then after I've done that, I'm going to pluck, move up to C add 9 chord, and I'm plucking that A, D, G and B string again there, so it's like. Then I've got another up strum there. So what happens here rhythmically is you're playing that C add 9 on the and the beat 4. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's just got this kind of slight kind of pushed feel to it where you're kind of coming in a half beat early with the chords. And once you've done that, C add 9, we've got that slap again on beat 2. And then what we have here is I'm going to play that A string with the thumb on that C add 9, and I'm going to pluck the top 3 strings with the index, middle and ring finger, plus keeping that thumb and the A string, and then move the index, middle and ring finger down onto the D, G and B strings. It's one of these things that's hard to explain and do. Basically what you're doing in that C add 9 chord is you're plucking the upper bit and then those strings in the chord, and that's kind of like and 3 and then you have a slap again. So if I put those 2 bars together really slowly, it starts off like this. Yeah. Then I've got the slap. And I've got that slap in beat 4, we're basically changing chords. I'll go to A minor 7, and I pluck again the A, D, G, B, just the G and B strings there. Then I've got my little up strum again on that chord. So you're always kind of doing this pluck, up strum, and just after we do the up strum, you've got the percussive hit. Yeah, so it's. Then for this bit, we do the thumb again, so it's the same sort of pattern we did the C add 9. Open A string, then I put my pinky on for the A minor 7, and I pluck the upper strings again, and then up to the B string again. So you hear this, like that. So that kind of goes, yeah, we've got a slap, then I go to the C chord, again pluck, up strum with the index finger, slap. And then we have a little variation in the D here. What we're going to do is pluck the D. But what Nuno does here is he plucks it, and then he plucks like the G string. And then it's like an up strum where you're pinky on to make that D sus4. Like that. And then you're back to kind of the start of it. So that bit from the C, from beat 4, kind of goes. Yeah, so we put it together. So far, these 4 bars are kind of like this. And then you basically cycle through it again. It's just that you don't start with the thumb up strum, you start with the pluck up strum, like that. Yeah. So that's kind of the main guitar part to this. Is what you're going to hear in the intro, and this is what you're going to hear in the 2 verses. So it should sound something like this. So after the verse, we're going to have something I'm going to call a pre-chorus, and basically this is a lead-in. We go to an E minor chord here rather than go back to the G. So the chords for this section, it's going to be like an E minor. So I've got my 2nd fret A, 2nd fret the D string. I'm using my 2nd and 3rd fingers there. And then we've got our A minor 7, you know, with the pinky, and off again. Then we've got a D7 in here, which is just that extra little bit of tension to the 5 chord in the key, and then the G. And then what we're going to be doing here is playing this G chord, and then we play like a D, and my thumb plays the F sharp on the bass. It's like a first inversion of the D chord, and then I take the middle finger off to kind of give like it's kind of an add 9 chord with F sharp on the bass, and then E minor before we get to the chorus. So that's the kind of chords there. You've got E minor, A minor 7 with the pinky, off again, D7, and then this G, that kind of feel. The playing those chords is pretty much the same as strumming before. We've got E minor, so if we come at this from D sus4, you pluck the E minor, strum, slap, A minor 7. That bit there, you might, instead of going, you could take the pinky off, but it's a subtle thing. And then the D7 is slightly different here. When you do the, you hear like an open A string there, I think, because you're playing the D7 on the beat here. So it's a slightly different rhythm. The D7 comes on 1 rather than being sustained and coming down to 2. And then you do the slap and then pluck that D7 again. And then I think there would be an up strum before you get into kind of the G. So this bit is a bit more kind of staccatos. Play the G. Yeah. So in between that, I'm putting a little rest. So I strum pluck the G twice, go to the D with F sharp, then take the middle finger off to get that D add 9 with F sharp, and then E minor. Then we get into the chorus, yeah, after that E minor. So that pre-chorus sounds a little bit like this. So the next section, I'm going to call this chorus A because I kind of feel like there's almost 2 types of chorus in other words. So this is the kind of first chorus or chorus A we're doing here. So chord wise, it's going to start with an A minor 7, pinky comes on. Then we've got a D7. And then we've got a G7 here. So this, I'm playing that, 3rd fret E, 2nd fret the A, and then my first finger's playing 1st fret that high E string there. So it's a little kind of secondary dominant chord that's setting up a tension to resolve to the next chord, which is C. Yeah. And then we have the classic little ballad trick. Next chord is a C minor. Yeah, which I'm playing as a bar chord here. Yeah, so I'm playing bang right across the 3rd fret, and my 3rd finger's 5th fret D, 4th finger's 5th fret the G, and my middle finger's 4th fret that B string there. So that's kind of like a chord that's borrowed from a G minor, basically. So you're making that major chord in the 4 minor, which is a classic little ballad trick. And then you go back to G again. And then we've got an E minor 7. So basically it's playing the E minor we had before, but now you're keeping the 3rd and 4th fingers and the B and E strings on the top. And then the last 2 chords are just like an A minor 7 and a D7. We get into the next section. So that's the chords we've got there. So again, it's a similar sort of vibe with the percussive attack and strumming. You come at this from the pre-chorus with an E minor. So that D7 again, you pluck it in beat 1, slap, and then I've got pluck, then an up strum with the index finger. When you're doing the G7, you pluck it with the low E string as the bass note, strum, slap, and then you pluck it from the A string, so you're hearing the B as the bass note now. C. Yeah. And then the C minor, kind of do this different ways. You could pluck it like this, or you could strum it, or you could just pluck it straight out, or you could go strum like that. There's different variations that he does. But I'll go for, the pluck, up strum, and then you've got your thumb and the usual pluck high strings, middle strings, and then G. And this bit, there's a little lead in to this kind of E minor 7. So what you do is you have your slap, you pluck the E string, and then you go. So you're kind of plucking the G chord once, twice, 1, 3 and. Then I play 2 on the E string to lead into the E minor 7. And E minor 7, what I'm doing is I'm plucking up the bass note, starting the E string. There's a kind of rest there, kind of slight slap I guess. Then you pluck on the A string with the top strings, again, slap after that, then you pluck the D string on the bass note, slap again, then back to A string, slap, so it goes. Yeah, and then our last two chords we just strum nice and slow, A minor 7, and then D7, and then we're into the next section. So that sounds a little bit like this. Okay, now we get to what I'm going to call chorus B, but basically I think it's another kind of variation in the chorus. Now, chord wise, we've got G for the first two bars of this, then we've got our, sounds like our D with F sharp on the bass, and then taking the middle finger off, and we've got that kind of add 9, and then we've got an E minor, and then we've got a B minor chord, so that's the 3 chord in the key, so I'm barring right across the 2nd fret from the A string here. Then I've got 4th fret the D, 4th fret the G, and then my middle finger's on 3rd fret that B string there. And that leads into the C. And then we have this little kind of climb down to A minor 7. So this is like a G with B in the bass. So I don't think Nuno's doing that. I think he's actually playing this chord like this. So I've got my 3rd and 4th finger on the top strings as normal, and then my 1st finger is playing that 2nd fret the A string. And then move to the A minor 7, pinky, then the D7, back to G again, and you do that all over again, E minor, B, C, and you end it with the D7 chord before you get to the next section. So rhythmically though, what we're doing with the G chord to begin with is we're doing the thumb on the bass twice. Yeah, and it sounds like there's a little open E there as he leads into the D F sharp, so it kind of plays in the and a beat 4. Now, what it sounds like is he's plucking actually up to the B string here, so I might be holding the D, but you're only hearing up to that B string, and then I'm hearing the open E string on the kind of and of beat or beat 2 there. So there's no slap there basically on beat 2, you've just got that, and then you pluck that D probably up to the B string again with the F sharp in the bass, and there's a really quiet kind of knock in the string here in beat 4. It's not like a hard one, so it's just a soft one. Yeah, and then I go to the E minor chord, slap. So in the B minor chord, what I'm doing is I'm plucking, and then I'm going to pluck the D string, and then do an up strum with the index finger after that slap. And then we get to the C chord, and then that's that bit there from that C chord. So you've got the C, so you pluck A minor 7 chord, and then our usual. And in the D7, he does this really cool, where he's plucking the top 3 strings, slap, and then you're plucking the whole chord with the D string. So you're almost hearing this bass movement go. It's really cool. So it goes from this A minor 7. Yeah, and then you repeat it again. Stuff. Little kind of gap there, not much of a slap, more a gap, and then you've got your D7 before you get back into the next section. So that kind of sounds like this. this section I've called the interlude. It's basically our main kind of strum pattern, or main riff, if you will, again. So it's usual, same as the intro, same as the verse. A minor 7. Up to that kind of G again, and you go around again. But this time you strum the A minor 7, then you play a D7, and then you get a little knock in the guitar just on that kind of and 4. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're back into a verse again. Yeah. So that section sounds like this. So second time through, the majority of it is the same. It's just these little variations. So the second verse is pretty much the same as the first. Second pre-chorus, we have this little variation. So obviously this is the thing that starts with E minor. D7, and then you're going to do like that. So what he's doing is he's strumming down the when you've got the slap and beat 4, you're going to strum in the G, D, F sharp, E minor, and that little tap rhythm comes in the kind of like it goes and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. So when I'm doing that, I'm something along those lines. You might do thumb, tap the top with the fingers, thumb, like that, and then back into, for the second kind of chorus A type thing. So it's just getting that kind of rhythm. Yeah. So that sounds a little bit like this. The second time through chorus A, everything's pretty much the same again. G7, C. You could do a slower strum in the C minor there. But this time, what Nuno does is he ends on the A minor 7, then you play the G7, and we have this cool chord, which adds even more tension. So what you're doing is you're taking your D7, moving it up 3 frets. So I've got 5th fret the high E, 4 on the B, 5 on that G string there. And this chord is like a D7 flat 9. That's your 5th. That interval there is the interesting interval. That adds that extra tension to it, which resolves even nicer back to your G when you get to the next section. So that second chorus A sounds like this. Second time through chorus B is pretty much the same. It's our second interlude that's different just before we get to the outro. So before it was 8 bars, and it's it's pretty much kind of the verse chords. So we play those 8 bars and then we repeat it again. But what we're doing here is we're kind of strumming the chords. So we've got the C add 9 little gap. So what you're doing is there's a little percussive hit in between that, so it's rest, percussive hit the A minor 7 twice like that, then you've got a down up strum on it, and then a kind of slap again in beat 4, and then you've got up to C add 9. Yeah, so this kind of it's like 1 and 2 and then in beat kind of to that bar after you've done the G, it sounds like he's hitting the kind of strings maybe the open palm, because it sounds a bit more kind of pockier, for want of a better term, because you can maybe hear in the sound holes. I think he's possibly doing that in the recording. So that kind of C add 9. Yeah, something along those lines. And then we end it. We have this D at the end. And I'm going to do 0, 2, 3 hammer on that high E string, as it leads into kind of an outro bit. So that second interlude sounds like this. We get to the classic outro and the proper version, none of this radio edit nonsense, the bit with Nuno's awesome kind of tapping one in it. So to begin with, obviously we've just come at this little 0, 2, 3 hammer on. I'm going to play a G chord, and what I'm going to be doing here, if I think of, if I call my thumb P, index finger I, middle finger M, and then I'll call this ring finger A, so it's P-I-M-A. I'm going to be doing this picking pattern where I do the low E string with P, then I plays the G string, M plays the B string, then I plays the G string, and then I'm going to do A, M, I on the E, B and G strings there. Play that bass note again, then move it down 1 fret. Now I've got my little D add 9 with F sharp in the bass. Again, same picking pattern. So I've got my finger in the 2nd fret E, my second finger's in the 2nd fret the G. Same picking pattern, move that bass note down 1 more fret again. And then I have an E sus4 here, so I'm just playing the 2nd fret of the A, D and G strings with the 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers, and I'm going to go all the way up with the thumb. And then I use my index fingers to do the E, B and G string. Then I've got an A minor 7, again all the way up with the thumb from the A string. And then I play the open D string. So that's that kind of first little so you can speed up, slow down. And now we get into, of course, the really cool tapping bit. So if you've never done any tapping in the acoustic before, the technique is basically the same. Obviously you don't have an amplifier or anything making the sounds that you're making in the guitar louder and bigger, but the technique's exactly the same. What you find might help is when you're doing tapping, trying to get close to the fret wire when you're doing these kind of notes, or hammering on and pulling off and stuff, might help with the kind of tone and the volume of the note. But basically we've got this D string ringing out. What I'm going to do is hammer on from nowhere, 2nd fret of that high E string with the index finger, then middle and 4th finger, hammer 3 and 5. Yeah, and of course this is kind of free time and slow to begin with. My picking hand's then going to tap 17th fret the high E string, and I pull off 5, 3, 2, 3, 5. So roll off and back on. Then I tap at the 15th fret, 17th fret, and of course you can hear he's speeding up as he's doing this. 15th fret again, and then 14th fret. And I'll call that like the first section. Yeah, so you're kind of accelerating as you're kind of playing it. Next little section is kind of like a double time feel compared to what we've just done. But what I'm going to do is tap at the 15th fret, then the 14th, then the 12th, then the 10th, and then kind of the 7th, but you roll off and roll back on. Apart from the 7, when you tap that, just do 5, 3, 2. I'm going to end there and I'll talk about the kind of final section. Yeah, so they're making sure that you're rolling off and hammer on with this hand here. Once I get to this bit, I've now got a very Van Halen style kind of tapping run. What I'm going to do, I've just done tap 5, 3, 2, hammer on from nowhere, or hammer on with the pinky onto the 5th fret, onto that high E string, and then tap 7, pull off to 5, 2, and then hammer on from nowhere, 5th fret of that B string there. So it's that Van Halen thing. You're kind of leading with the fretting hand. Yeah, you could hammer that with the pinky. Yeah, but you might find it a little bit stronger feeling with the kind of ring finger. Yeah, now I'm going to tap 7th fret B string, 5, 3, pull off on that B string there, and then hammer on to 4th fret of the G string there. Yeah, so you're kind of transitioning them. I mean, you might hear a little bit of the open B string there, but you're moving that position. And once you've hammered on there, next little phrase, I'm going to tap 7th fret of the G string, pull off 4, 2, open G string, pull off, and then hammer on from nowhere, 4th fret D string, pull off to the 2nd fret D string, open D string, and then you repeat that again from the hammer on the G string. Yeah, so you've kind of got that little unit. So slowly that last little tapping bit goes. And then we end it with this little harmonic thing here. So what it sounds like Nuno's doing is he's got the harmonic note at the 7th fret right across the 6 strings. I use my middle finger for this. I'm not pushing down, so I'm just resting it at that harmonic note right above the fret. And then I'm going to pluck, you know, when you slow it down it sounds like that, but I'm hitting the E string and then IMA on the G, B and E strings. But when you play it together fast it kind of sounds like that, and you let that ring out. Well, hold up a second. Can't believe I forgot when I was doing the main lesson. I come at you from Edit Land. I forgot when we did this harmonic, of course. We got some of that. So basically, once we've got that harmonic ringing out, if you put your hand in the body of the guitar and push the neck away, you'll be able to flex the neck ever so slightly to give a slight vibrato. Don't want to do it too hard, but just a little kind of warble. Okay? Right, back to the main lesson. And then we get into the final little bit. Go back to our G chord. I'm going to pluck or use the thumb to do E string, A string. And I'm doing the I, M, A, M, I on the G, B and E strings. And then I play the 2nd fret A string and then pluck the A and the B string together. So use the thumb and middle for that. P and M, I, A, M, like that. So it's like in the B string, G string, E string, B string, and then you just move this note down with the same pattern and move it down another fret. And I've got an A minor 7, which I'm just going to use my thumb right up to the high E string there. Then I'll use my 4th finger for this. I'm going to slide 3rd to 5th fret in the high E string. Yeah. So I'll start up, pull off, and then a quick hammer pull off, and then it ended with the G chord. Yeah, lovely. So that outro bit should sound a little like this. There you go, guys. There's More Than Words. Absolute classic. One of those 90s ballads that, you know, I'm sure still earns extremely pretty penny to this very day. If you want access to the Soundslice tab for this, I've got this transcribed out. As I said, it's more about thinking of the chords and maybe the percussive strumming thing that Nuno's doing. That's, I think, an easier way of thinking about it. But I've got the transcription for this. If you want to come over to the Patreon, you've got access to that. So you can slow down and loop that tapping one at the end if you want to try and play it. Though it's hard to do it because it's on free time. But you can use it to get the general idea. Come on over, you've got access to that. You'll also get access to loads of materials for all other lessons that we've got on Patreon, technique lessons, theory lessons, and of course everything else that I've got in the channel so far, all the other Pornograffitti tunes we've looked at so far, full transcriptions with the Soundslice tab so you can slow down and mute instruments and stuff is all available to you. So come on over to the Patreon, guys, and you can get access to that. If this is your first time here, please check out the end of the video for the playlist for the other tunes we've looked at so far on Pornograffitti. But if you like what you see, you want to keep up to date with stuff, please subscribe, hit that notification bell as well, and you'll be kept up to date with any uploads and stuff that I do. So thanks for watching, guys. Have fun with that, and I will see you soon.